Have they found something in our solar system that just shouldn't exist? And is NASA keeping the full story from you? Right now, as you're watching this, there's an object flying through space near Jupiter that has scientists completely baffled. It's called 3I Atlas. And the reason you probably have even heard about it is because every time researchers get close to understanding what it really is, the information gets buried, press releases get delayed, papers get held back, and the few scientists willing to talk about it, they're choosing their words very, very carefully. You see, 3I Atlas isn't behaving like anything we've ever seen before. It's not moving like a comet. It's not structured like an asteroid. And its trajectory, that's the part that's keeping astronomers up at night. Because when you run the numbers, when you trace back where this thing came from, you realize something incredible. This object didn't originate from our solar system. It came from somewhere else. Somewhere far away, and it's moving in a way that suggests it might not be entirely natural. I've spent the last 3 months digging into everything I could find about 3I Atlas. Research papers, leaked documents, interviews with astronomers who spoke on condition of anonymity. And what I've found is disturbing. Not just because of what 3I Atlas might be, but because of how hard certain organizations are working to keep this information quiet. So, in this video, I'm going to tell you everything they don't want you to know. And trust me, by the end of this, you're going to understand why they're so desperate to keep this a secret. Let's go back to when this whole thing started. October 2024. The Atlas Survey Telescope in Hawaii picks up a faint signal, just a small blip on their radar. At first, nobody thinks much of it. Space is full of rocks, asteroids, comets, debris. They track thousands of objects every single month. This was supposed to be just another one. But then, something weird happened. As they continued to observe this object over the following weeks, they realized it wasn't following a normal orbit. Most objects in our solar system move in predictable, elliptical paths around the sun. They follow the laws of physics that we've understood for centuries. The 3I Atlas, it was different. Its trajectory was hyperbolic. You know what that means? It means this thing was moving so fast that it wasn't bound by the sun's gravity. It was just passing through, a visitor from interstellar space. Now, this isn't the first interstellar object we've detected. In 2017, we spotted Oumuamua, that weird, cigar-shaped object that sparked all kinds of debate about whether it was natural or artificial. Then, in 2019, we found 2I Borisov, an interstellar comet that seemed pretty normal by comparison. So finding interstellar objects isn't impossible. It's rare, but it happens. But 3I Atlas is different from both of those, and that's where things get interesting. The first red flag was its brightness. When astronomers track objects, they measure how much light it reflects. This tells them a lot about what it's made of and how big it is. 3I Atlas was bright, way brighter than it should have been for its estimated size. And its brightness was fluctuating in patterns that didn't match any known natural phenomenon. Comets get bright because ice on their surface vaporizes, creating that iconic glowing tail. But 3I Atlas didn't have a normal tail. The spectroscopy data showed unusual chemical signatures, things that shouldn't be there if this was just a regular chunk of ice and rock. Then there was its rotation. Every object in space rotates, but 3I Atlas was spinning in a way that seemed almost controlled. The period was too stable, too regular. When you see rotation that consistent, it usually means the object has some kind of internal structure stabilizing it. Natural objects tend to be irregular. They wobble. But 3I Atlas, it was spinning like clockwork. So, astronomers started running simulations to figure out where this thing came from. They traced its trajectory backwards, calculating its path through space for thousands, maybe millions of years. And what they found was shocking. Its origin point was somewhere in the direction of the constellation Pisces. But here is the problem. There is no known star system in that region that could have ejected an object with this much velocity. For 3I Atlas to be moving this fast, it would have needed to be launched by something incredibly powerful. Some scientists proposed a planetary collision, but the odds of that debris having this precise trajectory are astronomical billions to 1. Others suggested a supernova, but the math doesn't quite add up. 3I Atlas just doesn't match the profile of supernova remnants. And then there's the third theory, the one that nobody wants to talk about publicly, but everyone's thinking about privately. What if 3I Atlas isn't natural at all? What if it's artificial? I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a conspiracy theory. But hear me out. There are actual credentialed researchers with PhDs who are genuinely considering this possibility, and they have good reasons. Let's talk about Oumuamua for a second. Back in 2017, after it had already passed through our solar system, something weird happened. It accelerated. Objects don't just randomly speed up in space. With comets, that force usually comes from outgassing. But Oumuamua showed no signs of a tail. So what caused the acceleration? One Harvard professor, Avi Loeb, suggested that Oumuamua might be a light sailor-thin, reflective structure designed to be pushed by sunlight. He got a lot of criticism for that theory. But here is the thing. Nobody has been able to provide a natural explanation that fits all the data, not one that makes complete sense. And now, we have 3I Atlas. An object that's even stranger than Oumuamua, and the scientific community is being very quiet about it. I reached out to several astronomers who have been tracking 3I Atlas. Most of them refused to comment. The ones who did talk to me asked to remain anonymous. One of them told me, quote, "We're seeing things that don't fit our models, and until we have a better understanding, there's been a push to limit public communication." Another said, "There are conversations happening at levels above my clearance. That should tell you something. Since when does looking at space rocks require security clearances? Unless someone thinks this isn't just a space rock. Unless there is a concern that we might be looking at something created by an intelligence that is unhuman." Think about the implications of that for a second. If 3I Atlas is artificial, it means someone built it. Someone launched it into space and pointed it toward our solar system. That would prove, beyond any doubt, that we're not alone in the universe. That's world-changing information, the kind that gets managed, controlled, and released slowly, if at all. And here's where it gets even weirder. In December 2024, a press conference by the International Astronomical Union about new findings was scheduled. Several prominent researchers were listed as speakers, and then 3 days before the event, it was canceled. The official reason was technical difficulties. But people who were supposed to attend said they were told to stand down, that the information wasn't ready to be shared. I started looking into the research papers on 3I Atlas. The ones that exist are surprisingly vague. They describe the object's trajectory and note its unusual properties, but they don't draw any real conclusions. But then I found something. A preprint paper, not yet peer-reviewed, that was uploaded to an archive and then quickly taken down. I managed to get a copy before it disappeared. In that paper, there's a section analyzing the thermal emissions from 3I Atlas. The research found that the object was emitting heat in a way that didn't match its solar exposure. Basically, it was warmer than it should have been. That suggests an internal heat source. And there are only a few things that could cause that. Radioactive decaying, chemical reactions, or technology. What do you think is really going on with 3I Atlas? Is it a natural wonder we don't understand yet? Or is it something more? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if you want to stay updated on this incredible story, be sure to follow and subscribe. See you next time. Have you ever heard of 3I Atlas? It's an interstellar object, something from beyond our solar system that's currently passing through. And there's something very strange about it. A while back, a scientific paper was published that hinted this object might be technological. It didn't say it outright, but the data pointed in that direction. And then, just as quickly as it appeared, the paper vanished. I tried to contact the authors. 2 of them had disappeared from their institution's no forwarding contact info. Nothing. The 3rd one sent me a 1-sentence email. "I can't discuss this topic. Please don't contact me again." No, that's not normal. That's not how science works. When you publish a paper, you want people to talk about it, to give you feedback. You don't just delete it and go silent, unless something is very wrong, unless you've been told to shut up. So, what do we know for sure? 3I Atlas is on a hyperbolic trajectory, meaning it's just visiting. It has bizarre brightness fluctuations and rotates with a suspicious regularity. It's emitting heat that can't be explained by the sun alone. Its origin point doesn't match any known star or cosmic event, and every time scientists get close to publishing something significant about it, the findings get suppressed. I'm not saying it's an alien spaceship, but I am saying there's enough weird data here to justify a serious investigation. And it seems that investigation is happening, but it's happening behind closed doors, away from public view, and that should concern you. This isn't just about some weird rock in space. This is about transparency. Do we, as citizens of this planet, have a right to know what's going on in our own solar system? There's something called the SETI Post-Detection Protocol. It has a set of guidelines for what to do if we ever detect a signal from an alien civilization. A key principle is transparency. The discovery should be shared with the world immediately, not kept secret by one government. But here's the catch. That protocol only applies to radio signals. It says nothing about physical objects. There's no rule book for what to do if we find an interstellar artifact. So if 3I Atlas is artificial, nobody is required to tell us. Maybe that's exactly what's happening right now. Maybe researchers have found proof that this object isn't natural, and they're scrambling to figure out what to do. Do they announce it? Do they wait for more data? Do they call the military first? These questions have massive implications for our society. Think about what happened when the Pentagon finally admitted that UFOs or UAPs, as they call them now, are real. For decades, anyone who reported seeing strange things in the sky was ridiculed. Then, suddenly, the government releases official footage and says, yeah, we've been tracking these. We don't know what they are. That was a huge shift. It legitimized a topic that had been dismissed for years. But even with that admission, we're still left without real answers. We don't know what those objects are, where they come from, or if the people in power know more than they re-letting on. The same thing could be happening with 3I Atlas. They might have the answers. They might know exactly what this thing is, but for political, social, or strategic reasons, they're choosing not to share that information. There's a concept in astronomy called the Great Filter. It's a theory that tries to explain why we haven't found any aliens yet, despite the vastness of the universe. The idea is that there's some kind of barrier that most civilizations fail to overcome. They might destroy themselves through war or environmental collapse before they can explore the stars. One of the most chilling versions of this is the dark forest theory. It suggests the universe is like a dark forest, and every civilization is a silent hunter. If you make a sound, you reveal your location and become a target. So, everyone stays quiet. Everyone hides. Now, think about that in the context of 3I Atlas. If it really is an artificial probe sent by another civilization, that raises some deeply uncomfortable questions. Is it Ire? Is it studying us? Is it a warning? Is it harmless? Or is it a threat? And if our governments think it might be a threat, would they tell us? Or would they keep it secret to avoid mass panic? History tells us they'd keep it secret. During the Cold War, there were numerous close calls that almost led to nuclear war. The public didn't learn about most of them until decades later. Why? Because governments decided it was better to keep us in the dark than to admit how close we came to annihilation. The same logic could easily apply here. If there's any chance 3I Atlas represents a danger, they're not going to announce it on the evening news. They're going to study it quietly and only tell us when they absolutely have to. But what I find most disturbing is the silence from the scientific community. These are people who have dedicated their lives to understanding the cosmos. They should be ecstatic about the possibility of finding extraterrestrial technology. Instead, there's this strange tension, a reluctance to speak. It's like they're walking on eggshells, like they know something they can't say. Maybe the real secret isn't what 3I Atlas is. Maybe the secret is what happens to scientists who don't follow the script. Science is supposed to be open, a collaborative pursuit of truth. But when politics and national security get involved, science can become a tool. Information gets classified, and the people doing the work get silenced. Right now, 3I Atlas is heading back into interstellar space. In a few years, it'll be too far away for our telescopes to see. We'll lose it forever, and if we don't get answers before then, we might never know the truth. But I think they already know. I think the data has been analyzed, and conclusions have been drawn. And those conclusions are being kept from us because someone, somewhere, decided we can't handle the truth. Maybe they're right. Maybe it would cause chaos. Or maybe they're wrong. Maybe the real danger isn't discovering we're not alone. Maybe the real danger is being kept ignorant about the most important question humanity has ever faced. This object is going to disappear, and this opportunity will be lost. We'll be left with questions that may never be answered, unless enough of us start asking, unless we demand transparency, unless we refuse to accept the silence. That's why I made this video. I don't have the answers, but I believe these questions need to be asked. People deserve to know that something strange is happening in our solar system, and that the people who should be studying it are being mysteriously quiet. Maybe there's a perfectly natural explanation for all of this, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think this is a turning point in human history. We're on the verge of discovering something that will change everything, and I think the people in power are trying to figure out how to control it. How long will they keep 3i Atlas a secret? Maybe until it's gone. Maybe forever. But I care, and if you've watched this far, I think you care too. So keep looking up, keep asking questions, and keep demanding answers. The truth is out there, and they can't hide it forever. Thanks for watching, and hit that subscribe button if you want to stay updated on this story.